When we support the people who pull our food from the dirt, societies thrive. When we ignore them, our agricultural foundations turn back to dust. Right now in Karnataka, the monsoon is arriving. The ground is finally wet enough to work, giving farmers a narrow, critical window to prepare their land and plant their crops. But instead of working those fields, thousands of farmers are stuck standing in miles-long queues. They are waiting for essential seeds, specifically high-demand crops like soybeans, which are suddenly nowhere to be found. Even when seeds are available, they are only half the battle. To grow them, farmers need fertilizer, and the prices for those essential nutrients are currently skyrocketing well beyond what a typical grower can afford. A lack of rain causes a natural famine, but empty warehouses and spiked prices right before the state's most critical planting season point to something else, a crisis engineered by people. On June 16, 2026, the political fallout from this crisis landed squarely in Mysuru. Leaders from the Karnataka Rashtra Samithi, the KRS party, called a press conference at Patrika Bhavan. They stepped up to the microphones with a specific set of allegations to expose the crisis. They presented this official complaint letter, filed weeks earlier. It formally documents exactly how the agricultural supply chain has been compromised. The document outlines a clear accusation. Corrupt local officials and regional fertilizer companies are actively colluding to exploit the farmers. Beyond the formal complaint, the KRS launched a forensic audit of the supply chain, uncovering the specific financial mechanics used to systematically rob these farmers. The first mechanism they identified is artificial scarcity. Dealers are deliberately hoarding massive quantities of government-subsidized fertilizers, like urea and DAP, keeping them off the open market. By choking off the supply right when demand is highest, these dealers ignore the legal price limits and inflate the cost of fertilizer by 20 to 30%. This chart shows how that math plays out. A standard bag of urea carries a strict maximum retail price, or MRP, of around 350 rupees. Yet desperate farmers are currently paying a black market rate of 500 rupees or more just to get what they need. All of this inflation is happening despite official government directives that mandate strict buffer stocks to prevent exactly this kind of shortage. The product exists. This shortage is simply a spreadsheet manipulation designed to extract profit from people who have no other options. Price gouging is only the first layer. The dealers have introduced a second, more insidious mechanism known as tagging. This flowchart illustrates how the trap works. To buy the subsidized urea they actually need, farmers are forced to buy an additional 500 to 800 rupees worth of completely unrelated, non-subsidized chemicals that they do not want. This level of systemic extortion raises an obvious question. Why are the regulatory authorities letting this happen in broad daylight? According to the KRS, local agricultural officers are actively turning a blind eye. They are deliberately failing to enforce the National Fertilizer Control Order of 1985, which strictly prohibits these sales tactics. When corrupt dealers mandate tagging and local officials refuse to enforce the law, a program designed to subsidize agriculture transforms into a state-sanctioned extortion racket. To dismantle this system, the KRS issued a strict ultimatum to the Agriculture Department. First, they demanded that every fertilizer shop publicly display their current inventory and exact prices on a daily basis. Second, they insisted on strict enforcement at the register. All sales must go through a digital point-of-sale system to track the exact prices paid, and any dealer caught exploiting the system must have their license canceled immediately. If the fertilizer mafia is allowed to continue operating like this, it will bankrupt the very people working the land, leading to a collapse in Karnataka's overall agricultural productivity and food security. The equation is simple. If the farmers cannot afford to plant, the rest of us cannot afford to eat. We have to stand with the people who feed us. To support this kind of deep-dive journalism, subscribe to the 369 Samruddhi Success channel. Hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, send this video to every Kannadiga you know, and press the bell icon so you never miss an update.